Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Thanos 4262. I think I finally figured that one out. I think it's 62 on YouTube and 92 on like Discord and shit. Um, but so before I start the actual video, I did want to get a couple trigger warnings out of the way. So I will be talking about suicide in this video. I will be talking about a lot of mental health. And a lot of more graphic things, particularly with what I've been through and how I've gotten past it. So if that's not interesting to you, or if you have anything, not anything, but like if you are not in a good place or not in a good state of mind, I would recommend clicking off this video. Um, that being said, I'm not going to like sit here and make jokes. That is not who I am. I am not that kind of person, particularly in like full public. I'm not gonna sit there and make constant jokes about these kind of topics because you know, like in private, yeah, sure. I laugh about my traumas, my depression, my anxiety, but in public, um, I always try to help. I always try to be positive and benefit the people around me. Um, so with that being said, let's get into it. So, um, it's the time of year where statistically we lose a lot of people, and we lose a lot of people every day. Um, whether you're going through a loss, whether it's their anniversary or their birthday or something like that, it doesn't get easier. I, I've lost a lot of people in my life. Um, a lot of people, and that that has definitely taken a toll. Um, it has made it harder to connect with people on a more intimate level. It has made it harder for me to recognize what I'm feeling and when I'm feeling it. Um, and I talk about growth a lot. And a lot of that is because of what I've been through personally and the type of environments I grew up in. I mean, shit, I spent 10 years in foster care. Um, and when I was 9 years old, I lost my best friend to a shooting. He died in my arms, and that that's just not the kind of thing you really ever get over. Um, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it gets better. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you never stop feeling that loss, because you don't. Um, that loss is always there. Um, and not much. The best thing you can do is start putting one foot in front of the other. And if you were struggling with suicide, if you were struggling with thoughts, I'm not gonna tell you to go talk to somebody. I'm not, because I went to therapy for most of my life. When I was 16, um, I had been seeing this therapist for about 3 years when he um, and this was back when I was smoking pot super heavy, and I was in a group home, and my parents at the time, my adoptive parents, who I no longer talk to, got really angry because I was smoking, and they called him and told him to make me stop. Um, and I was of the mind that this is the only thing helping me. This is I was sleeping better. I was doing better mentally. Um, it was the like I've been on antidepressants since I was 4 years old, 5 years old. They haven't really ever helped. Um, I can't say antidepressants. I've been on pills most of my life. I've been on a lot of ADHD meds before we figured out I didn't have ADHD, and now I'm thinking I have what's called ADHD, where I have autism and ADHD. Um, but it has always been this weird stage. Sorry, off topic, but um, I went in one day, and as I sat down on the couch, he called me a stubborn, obstinate, hard-headed asshole, which is true, wholeheartedly. I am a stubborn, obstinate, hard-headed asshole, but you don't say that to a 17-year-old struggling with depression. You don't say that to a 17-year-old that has already had 3 suicide attempts. Um, that is not beneficial. That is not helpful in any way. That hurts. That cut me very deep because I put a lot of trust in this man. To the point where I haven't gone back to therapy in the last 3 4 years. Um, it really did hurt. It did. Um, and a lot of shit happened that day. And I remember we called her a group home mom. Her name was Janice. She was great. Um, and that was in, I want to say, like January. I had called her. She came and picked me up. Um, I had told her what happened as we were driving away, and she slammed on the fucking brakes, turned around, and went inside and bitched him out for me. Um, 4 months later, she passed away. And that one really hurt. I hate every day that I wasn't able to say goodbye. But she became just another reason for me to keep pushing and to keep going forward. And while it might not be true right now, I hope that one day I can do her damn proud. Um, and her and her fiance both worked for the group home. They were well respected by all the staff. Her fiance, ex-fiance, is still alive. I still talk to him on occasion. Um, he was one of the people that I trusted with my life. I trusted with everything I have, and I probably still would. Um, 3 months, or no, a year and 3 months after she passed, I moved in with my best friend. Um, and I lived with them for 9 months before I left for college. Those were the greatest 9 months of my life. Um, which, albeit, isn't saying a whole lot, but there is no right way to recovery. There is no right way to just get over these feelings. Whether that be grief, whether that be depression, whether that be trauma, anxiety. There is no just getting over it. You're going to have your good days and you're going to have your bad days. Um, and part of the reason I wanted to record today was I got home from work and kind of realized today's one of my bad days. Um, and like there's a reason. I can't say there's a reason for everything. Because I that those ideas struggle in my head. This idea of free will and destiny. Those are conflicting ideals in my brain. If which is a whole another video. But um, the pain you're feeling is valid. Um, the anger at the world um is valid. Just don't use it in the wrong ways. Don't go shoot up a school. Don't go do those things. There's a lot of things wrong with the world. Um but there's also a lot of good in it. It has taken me 15 years to start seeing the good again. Almost 16. Um but I'm at the point in life where I might not be happy, but I'm striving for it. It's coming. And I hope every day that it can come faster. Um and that you know, um it's not just gonna be some continuous struggle of, oh, I feel really good today, and I go into work super happy, and then I come home and all of my energy's gone. Or I don't work today, but it's one of my bad days, and I like I have shit I need to do. I need to clean my room. I need to clean my cat's litter box. I need to do laundry, stuff like that, and I can't get out of bed. Um, I have helped a lot of friends. I have. I can't say I helped. But as somebody who struggles with it themselves, and not only has friends that struggle with it, but family members, don't try to force them out of it. Um, and obviously it varies person to person. But if they're like bed rotting, cool, go hang out with them. They might just need a person to vent to. They might just need a person to coexist with for 20 minutes so they can kind of force themselves to get up. Um, don't shame your friends. I don't care if you're a man or a woman or a non-binary, gender non-conforming. I don't give a fuck. Don't shame your friends for these feelings. Don't shame your friends to the point where, cool, they're depressed. Oh, they didn't shower. That's fucking nasty. If you don't have it, quite frankly, if you have never lived through these feelings of depression, of severe anxiety, of, oh my god, everything's going wrong, I can't physically get out of bed today, don't shame people. And even if you have, don't shame people, because it's the last thing they want to hear, and it's not helpful. Like, I get it. Yeah, it is gross. Like, wholeheartedly. The weeks I've spent bed rotting, like, the weeks I've gone without showers, yeah, I smelled. I can guarantee I did. But sitting there and berating somebody with mental health issues because you want to feel morally superior is fucking ridiculous. It does not help. Um, and I like I'm ass at the game. I don't want to talk about it. But like sitting there and shaming somebody for any of that is not okay. It should not exist. And to the older people, to the people that are like Gen X, we get it. You pulled yourself up by your bootstraps, but the economy is in the worst slump it's been in years. The every like all of that. That's political. I'm trying not to get into that because this is like mental health awareness. Um, but genuinely, if you are struggling, if you feel like you have nobody, reach out. Whether that be a comment, something like that. Um, this is a safe space. Um, I would rather you comment on my video and I see it and I get up at 3 in the morning to respond than to for you to be another statistic. Um because men's mental health especially, and I'm not going to sit there and gloss over women's versus men's. There is a difference, the way women's mental health is treated over men's. Um there is. Um Part of that is because men are told growing up, don't let be a man, suck it up, like you can push through all that shit, and then we wonder why, statistically speaking, most men don't make it to 30, and we sit there and wonder why like men don't talk, why men don't talk about their emotions. Um, a man kills himself every minute, and that isn't good. Like, genuinely, that's not healthy. That's not. I mean, obviously, it's not healthy. But it's something I've struggled with. Um, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I've never attempted suicide. I've attempted 4 times in my life. Once when I was 12, once when I was 13, once when I was 15, and once when I was 17. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it gets better. I'm still fighting that battle. I the thing that helps me is knowing that despite the hell that I've lived through, the horrible things I've seen, the abuse I've suffered, the own mental anguish I've given myself, um, the days where I felt like absolute garbage and completely and utterly worthless. Um, Even with all that, I had friends that picked me up, that helped me, um, and that I ended up calling family. Um, I'm not going to ever sit here and berate you for being yourself unless yourself is a racist piece of shit. Um, there is a lot. I make jokes about my own trauma. I think I said that earlier. I make a lot of jokes about my own trauma, about how I like that. That is how I deal with it. Um, I crack jokes. Like that is how I make jokes. That is my sense of humor. You won't ever hear it on the channel. Um, that is the one thing I'm going to hold myself to is I like dark humor. I do. Um, Part of it's to hell I've been through. It's the kind of humor I was raised on. Is gallows humor. Um, but like I think for me personally, part of the reason I struggle so much with my mental health is because genuinely I did not think I was making it past 16. I remember being 8 years old playing with one of the neighborhood kids, and I was older than they were by a good couple years, but we would fuck around together, we would play together. And I remember me telling him that I was 8. He was 5 at the time. And him being amazed that I made it that far. And for whatever reason, that's always stuck with me. Um, but at 9 years old, when I got put into foster care, I had told myself that I wouldn't make it to 19. That it'd be over by 12. Um, I have seen gang violence. I have seen people die in my arms. I have seen people load racks ready to go back and go shoot back. And yeah, I might be white. And like I have friends that ask why didn't you gangbang? For one, I was 10 years old when I was living down there. And like two, even back then, I realized that if I were to join a gang, I wouldn't amount to much ever. And I'm not saying that to offend people in gangs. I do like I understand why people do it. I get their reasons. It wasn't the lifestyle for me. And it is culture, and there are parts of that culture I am never going to understand. I will never understand the fear of being shot by a cop. I will never understand the fear of being just pulled over because I am not an African American man. I am not black. I am not a part of that culture, but there are parts of that culture I do understand. I understand poverty. I understand struggling to hustle, trying to get as much money as I can at 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old to put bread and food on the table and help mama pay her rent and all of that. That I do understand. And so I do want it to make it clear that like you will hear me slip into more of a gangbanger accent, a black accent, a black accent for lack of a better term. It is not me coming from a place of harm. It is not me trying to be funny. It is you have either pissed me off to the point where I am slipping into my roots and how I grew up and where I grew up, or I feel comfortable enough around you to let that slip. Um, because wholeheartedly, I like this is going to sound kind of egotistical. I think of myself. I have a very high opinion of myself. I do. I'm not going to lie to you. I have an ego. It's there. I mean, I feel like it kind of has to be if you're gonna sit in front of a mic and talk with no other input over video game gameplay. You have to have a pretty high opinion of yourself. I feel like. Um, but I like it is not me trying to take away from that culture. It is not me trying to insult that culture. I have a lot of respect for that culture. I do. Um, and you're not going to hear me talk about it a lot because wholeheartedly, it's not something I like bringing up. Um, because remembering that gang violence, remembering the shootings, remembering my homie dying in my fucking arms, those aren't good memories. Like, yeah, we had fun on the block. Yeah, like all of that, but like at the same time, it is riddled with pain, with violence, with abuse, with neglect, with there's just a lot there, and I like it's not something I like bringing up in public. Most of my friends know about it. Like, to my friends, I am a very open person. I wear my heart in my fucking sleeve, for God's sakes. I mean, shit, I was breaking down not 10 minutes ago. Um, but that is, I'm not gonna do the W sponsorship today. Um, this is all I have for you guys. If you're struggling, reach out. I'm gonna put the suicide hotline in the description. Um, but I think the way I'm gonna phrase this, I don't know if tomorrow's going to be better. I don't. Um, but the only way to find out is to stay alive and stay here. Um,